on hand for the king of the modifieds for the second straight year here in Southern Virginia. I am Bob Dillner, excited to be with you today on FloRacing. And if you take a look at the front stretch and pit road, we have cars graced their appearances on pit road right now, getting ready for 2 laps of qualifying. We saw 2 rounds of practice a little bit earlier today. Bryce Bailey, the driver from Waverly, New York in the Shady Grady Racing number 15, set fast time in both practice sessions here today. This is a preamble, if you will, to tomorrow's big day at South Boston Speedway. We will see a 125-lap race, the King of the Modifieds for the Smart Modified Tour. Twin Centera late model races, 50 laps apiece for that NASCAR division, as well as the Star Super Stocks here. You will see all of that racing action on FloRacing, but we hope you can come out to South Boston Speedway. If you're watching the coverage today on FloRacing, you can see it is beautiful right now. Bright blue skies overhead, temperatures in the mid-60-degree range. We're expecting the low 70s here tomorrow, so you're going to want to come out here and check out South Boston Speedway. This is one of the premier short tracks, not just in the South, but all of America. Beautiful facility. Brandon Brown and his staff have gotten this place just beautified here coming into the first race of the season for them and the third race of the season for the Smart Modified Tour. Currently, Jake Crum in the 99 for Jamie and Cheryl Tomeno, the point leader coming into this one by virtue of his 2 top 5 finishes in the initial first 2 races of the season for the Smart Mods. But we cannot say how wonderful this weekend is going to be with the stars that have come from the north and the south all over the Atlantic seaboard to race here at South Boston Speedway this weekend. Last year it was a single day show, and unfortunately Mother Nature was not kind to us on a Saturday, so we raced on a Sunday. The winner of the inaugural event for the King of the Modifieds, powered by Dominion Energy, was Luke Baldwin in the Pace-O-Matic 7VA for Sadler Stanley Racing. Well, he's hoping to go back-to-back. He's back to defend not only his crown here from the King of the Modifieds, but also he's the defending series champion. This racetrack, beautiful facility as we mentioned. 0.4 of a mile in length, banking up to 12 degrees in the corners here. This place opened back in 1957. It seats 10,000 people. 9 Smart races have been run here in the history of the Smart Series, and we have never had a winner go for 2 checkered flags here. All single race winners in this field throughout the year, so it's going to be exciting to see if one of those guys can go back-to-back like Luke Baldwin, who is standing by right now with Derek Perniciglio. All right, we'll get things sorted out here in just moments before qualifying. Cars, almost all of them, I believe, through the pre-qualifying technical process here. A couple of notes here today. Tom Martino Jr. Came down. He's from the Northeast to run here with the King of the Modifieds. That car had engine difficulty here today, so he will not be taking time. He is retired for the weekend, unfortunately, to make that trip from the Northeast and come down here. He will not be competing here because of problems underneath the hood. Joey Coulter had some issues with his primary 02 Gray Ghost machine. He has gone to the backup, and he will qualify his backup car here today at South Boston Speedway. So a couple of people having some difficult times here today. It is practice and qualifying day at South Boston Speedway, but we're -1 car, so 34 overall on the entry list coming into this one. We will have 33 cars, I believe, to qualify here today at South Boston Speedway. The most recent winner for the Smart Modified Tour here at South Boston Speedway back in October, the ace Burt Myers, a 3-time Smart champion, went to victory lane on that day in the penultimate race of the season. As we mentioned, Luke Baldwin having won last year's King of the Modifieds, powered by Dominion Energy. Well, we're going to check down with Derek Pernasiglio once more before qualifying kicks off. Derek?
Thanks, Bob. And there goes my first impression for the weekend. But we've got Luke Baldwin here, last year's winner of the King of the Modifieds, back again this year to defend your crown. How's the car and how's your day been going so far?
Yeah, we had a really good year last year at this place. I love this racetrack. We've been struggling a little bit with the balance today. It's got some raw speed. But yeah, we've just been fighting some gremlins back and forth. But I think we ended in a good spot. I'm still not scared of our chances. I think we got a good chance at it tomorrow. Just gotta see how we can qualify. Hopefully, put it in the redraw.
The sun's out. A lot of drivers have talked about being pretty free today. How is that going to affect the handling of the cars?
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to cool off in the next few minutes for qualifying. We'll kind of see this place. It'll be either harder to build tire heat. Will be a little, should have a little bit more grip, which would be nice. Just depends whether that's forward grip or lateral grip or whatever. It depends at this place. It's kind of a green racetrack. First time racing this place this year for anybody, so no one really has a feel for the racetrack yet, how it's going to be. It's a completely different racetrack than it was last week when we came here and tested. It feels like a different race car, so we'll see how cooling off into the later evening affects this thing and see how we can do it.
Well, we'll see if Crew Chief Neil Cantor can get this SNS Racing number 7 VA dialed in. Bob, let's go back to you.
I got a question for you, Derek. I like how Luke Baldwin said he was chasing that thing here today, but didn't you see him in the top 5 in both practice sessions here today? That car is pretty quick.
We did. He's fast. He's been fast all day, and it just goes to show you how competitive these guys are. So even if he's in the top 5, it's still not good enough for Luke Baldwin.
Well, first car is now on the racetrack, and he's out of Miami Springs, Florida, in the Torch Eyewear Molecule Air Shock Drive Refine SRI Performance Bilstein Shocks Fury machine. It's a backup car for the 02 of Joey Coulter. He brought 2 Gray Ghosts. That's what his car is affectionately called. And Joey is out here qualifying now at South Boston Speedway. He completed his first lap already, having a little difficulty with timing and scoring here. We can see if we can get that going for you in just a second. It's something that they've been working on here today at South Boston Speedway. Waiting for the data, it says on Race Monitor right now. Second car on the racetrack, the number 22 machine. This driver hails from Advance, North Carolina, in the Carolina Drilling Tutterow Racing Fury machine with an ECR engine underneath the hood for the 22 of Jason Tutterow. Tutterow top 10 last year in the King of the Modifieds. Checkered flag is out. We still do not have timing and scoring. Let's go down to Derek.
We've got Carter McMurray down here driving the Bass Pro Shops number 40 machine. You only have a handful of modified races under your belt so far. How's the experience been, and how do you like driving these cars?
No, it's been really great. I can't thank Phil and everybody at PSR and John Morris at Bass Pro Shops for supporting me. It's definitely been an experience, I'd say qualifying is definitely one of my biggest struggles, so I'm going to see what I can do right here and try to be top 12.
Besides qualifying, how are you enjoying the feel of these cars compared to what you've raced in the past?
No, it's definitely been a different type of racing for me. Really learning how to race against our guys in a full-size car. It's been a learning experience for me. I just have a great team behind me, and I'm really excited to get underway here today.
Well, Bob, Carter McMurray has already showed some promise in that number 40 machine. He's had some top 10 runs so far in his early career.
Well, Derek, up here we're doing things the old-fashioned way and listening to the radio to hear the times because scoring is still down on Race Monitor. So they're going to work on that a little bit. Tony Hanbury on the racetrack right now in the number 20 machine. He's out of Oswego, New York, in the Jerry Gradle Motors machine. Top time so far, by what we can tell, the 0-2 car of Joey Coulter, time of 14.504, 14.504, a 14.579 for Hanbury. Now on the racetrack, the number 45 car, joining us for the first time this year out of Burlington, North Carolina, in the Ideal Comfort Heating and Air PSR for Gary Young Jr. in the 45. Checkered flag is out for Gary Young Jr., hoping to get a good qualifying spot here today. It'll be a 14.565 for the 45. Derek?
And we've got Brandon Ward sitting in line getting ready to go out. He has won here in Modifieds in the past. He's also won in the Hooters Pro Cup Series. You've got some experience at this track. What is the trick to this place?
Just having enough speed, just like everywhere. I love coming to South Boston, a beautiful facility that these guys have here. It's fun to race. You can move around on the racetrack. It's got a lot of speed to it, a lot of grip to it. So, yeah, we've had some success here in the past with the Modifieds and with the Pro Cup cars, late models, a lot of things. So I always look forward to coming here. It's a big event, and we're happy to be a part of it today.
You and the Kevin Powell Speed Motorsports team have done some practicing and some testing in the past couple of weeks. You like where the car is going. How confident are you going into qualifying?
I mean, pretty confident. We've been working a lot on race runs today. I would like to say I think we got enough speed in it for the pole, but I don't know. I feel like we can get up in that top 6 or 8, be in the redraw, and we were really good in the race trim earlier on, so that's what we've been working on, and that's what we're really hoping for. But I always want to have a good lap in qualifying to set a good pace here, too.
Qualifying is going to be a strong factor in this weekend's race. Brandon Ward has won here in the past, and they have a very fast car this afternoon. He was in the top 5 in practice in the first round.
Speaking of a fast car, we have a new fast time qualifier so far here during the middle of Smart Modified Tour qualifying. Jack Baldwin with a time of 14.469 sits on top of the board right now. On the racetrack, a kid that has really surprised a lot of people so far this year out of Manorville, New York. That's on Long Island in the Hillbilly Motorsports ride, a PSR race car for the 79 of Joey Braun. Braun, third place finish in the season opener just a few weeks ago. Checkered flag is out for him. His first lap was fast enough to take over that top spot, 14.453. His second lap on the racetrack, just a little bit quicker, 14.427. The Hillbilly Motorsports number 79 to the top of the board here so far in qualifying for the Smart Modified Tour. So just to clarify that just a little bit, we understand that, and we're still sorting out some timing issues here through Race Monitor. It looks like Jack Baldwin actually is still on top of the board. Joey Braun in second, Joey Coulter in third, Gary Young Jr. in the 45 in fourth, and Karsten Dijon Tomaso in that fifth spot. Easy for me to say here today at South Boston Speedway. Getting ready to unleash some more cars on the racetrack. We got cars from all over the Atlantic coast here today at South Boston Speedway. And these cars are running in terms of their qualifying order in reverse order of the final practice speeds here today at South Boston. Derek?
Well, we've got one of the youngest drivers in the field. It's Paulie Hartwig III. He's a 14-year-old modified sensation. He's good on dirt and pavement. You said this is the first time here. You've never been here before, but you practiced on iRacing. Are there similarities?
Yeah, kind of. You just saw the milk here. We were pretty good. We were fifth fastest in the second practice. It's all about learning, no expectations. Just hopefully we get a good qualifying run again in redraw. We got 125 big ones tomorrow, so hopefully we just keep our heads straight.
Well, he may be 14 years old, but he definitely talks like a seasoned veteran. Paulie Hartwig, also running for Rookie of the Year this year in the Smart Modified Tour.
Well, the guy on the racetrack right now, Derek, is 33 years old, and he's making his first start with the Smart Modified Tour. Eddie McCarthy out of Brick, New Jersey, a winner at Wall Stadium, New Jersey. And that car turning a time of 14.541 on his first lap. Top time so far is Jack Baldwin, a 14.409 from McCarthy there in the number 20. Second quick so far for the driver of the black and green number 20. This next driver comes from a long lineage of modified racers. In the number 5 car out of Lisbon, Connecticut, in the Dolly's Collision and Custom LFR machine for Chris Pastriak in the 5CT. 14.649 first lap for Pastriak. Second lap, 14.524 for Chris Pastriak. Next car on the racetrack, he is the point leader after 2 events on the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. In that number 99 with Mount Airy Toyota on the side, it's Jake Crum. Hey Derek, Bryce Bailey, everybody is shooting for him fastest in both practice sessions here today.
Yeah, Bryce Bailey has definitely been on everybody's mind. They've been watching him. He's been fast in both practices. You were quick. You're one of the guys that people are talking about. How's the car feel and how are you liking your chances today?
Yeah, I mean, we got a great race car. Once again, the Shady Grady guys have given me a great race car every time out so far this year. We just got to put one together, I guess. We haven't had one go our way, and I think we got a lot of speed right here, and I'm really optimistic.
Well, Bryce Bailey has already scored 1 pole so far in the Smart Modified Tour earlier this season, and he has been very fast every time he shows up at the track.
Fast time qualifier so far, Ron Silk in the number 16 car out of Norwalk, Connecticut, in that Future Homes Blue Mountain Machine race car, the number 16, 14.284. Incredible time for Silky here today in his initial visit with the Smart Modified Tour during the King of the Modifieds powered by Dominion Energy. Next car on the racetrack, the number 51 machine. He finished 10th in last year's King of the Modifieds out of Sugarloaf, Pennsylvania. In the Harmon Funeral Homes, KD Wolf Trucking 2 quick race car, the number 51 of Jaden Harmon. Harmon, a 578, 14.578 on his first lap. Second lap, just a little bit quicker, 14.514 for Jaden Harmon. This guy is coming off a big win last week in an open modified race at Caraway Speedway near Asheboro, North Carolina. It's the Flying Floridian Jeremy Gerstner out of Wesley Chapel, Florida, in that Cherokee Underground number 55. First lap on the racetrack, coming to the checkered flag right now. First lap was a 14.536 for Jeremy Gerstner, making his first start in 2 years with the Smart Modified Tour here this weekend. 14.393 for the 55 on his second lap. Derek?
Well, one of the sentimental favorites here this afternoon at South Boston Speedway will be the number 16 of Jonathan Cash. You have a lot of experience at this racetrack in late models in various divisions. What would it mean to win this race this weekend at your home track?
It just means a lot, just being in front of the hometown crowd, and got a lot of experience here, so obviously we've got a lot of confidence coming into here, and we just hope we can get it together, and you know, for Pace-O-Matic and Sadler Stanley Racing and PSR, and we're gonna do the best we can do. But I think we got a good shot, and you know, we got a couple of friends back home. Marty and my dad is not doing well, so hopefully we can have a good run for them.
Well, he's got a handful of wins in late models in the division here at South Boston Speedway. He doesn't have one in the modifieds yet, but he's hoping for one this weekend.
On the racetrack right now, already completed 1 lap, is Tommy Buzzy out of Maiden, North Carolina, in the Mark III Financial Troyer machine. Buzzy comes to the line, hoping to get a good qualifying run. Remember, if you're in the top 8 after qualifying, you have the opportunity possibly to redraw for your starting spot. Buzzy in that number 5 machine, 14.610 on his first lap, and 4.90 on his second lap for that second generation race car driver. Now on the track, the number 21 car. He is in the top 10 here a couple of different occasions. One of them with the Smart Modified Tour just last year out of Reedy Creek, North Carolina, the Carolina Grilling Fury machine for Jimmy Wallace. Wallace coming around to take the checkered flag. Jimmy Wallace, 14.833 on his first lap. Second lap, a 14.495. Pretty good qualifying effort for Jimmy Wallace. The number 98 car now on the racetrack. This guy comes from the late model stock car ranks, now making modifieds his home on a part-time basis. He's out of Claremont, North Carolina, In the Shamrock Motorsports number 98, it's Landon Huffman. Huffman first lap, a 14.659 for Landon Huffman, who has the Hickory Crawdads, by the way, the minor league baseball team, on the side of his helmet. Checkered flag is out. Landon Huffman's qualifying effort is complete. Remember that first lap, a 6.59. Second lap, much better by about 0.2 of a second. 14.445 for Landon Huffman. Ron Silk still top time so far. Here's a guy that won the race at South Boston Speedway for the Smart Modified Tour last October in the battle at Sobo in the CitraSafe Cleaners Pinnacle Financial number 1. It's the ace, Burt Myers. Burt Myers, first time, 14.609. Burt Myers has never finished outside the top 7 here in any race in the modified division at South Boston Speedway. Second lap on the racetrack, definitely quicker, 14.496. Burt Myers not locking himself into the top 5 yet here today at South Boston Speedway. Next driver, the 04 machine. He drives a Troyer. And this is the KevinSaysYes.com Q104.1 iHeartRadio Foothills Ford machine for former NASCAR Modified champion at Bowman Gray Stadium, Brandon Ward. Brandon Ward, first lap on the racetrack, a 14.484. Seeing if he can best that just a little bit here in that 04 machine. A 14.446 for Brandon Ward. One of last year's Racing Electronics Rookie of the Year competitors now on the racetrack. He's out of Newtown, Connecticut. No sponsor on the side of this Troyer car for Paul French in the 12 PA. It's Anthony Bello. Bello running some full fendered machines with the late model stock car world, pro late model world as well over the course of the last few months. Checkered flag is out for Bello. 14.601, his first lap on the racetrack. The second lap, rating, timing, and scoring to reset, a 5.44, 14.544 for Anthony Bello. Here's a kid that Derek Perniciglio talked to just a little while ago in the number 40 machine out of Mooresville, North Carolina. That's the Bass Pro Shops PSR house car for Carter McMurray. Recognize that last name? Yes, his dad, Daytona 500 winner Jamie McMurray. Carter, just 14 years old in this 40 machine, taking the checkered flag this time by. His first lap, a 14.515. He was pretty quick in that final practice session. His first lap will be the lap of record with that 5.15 because his second lap just a little bit slower. Down to Derek.
Well, Landon Huffman is definitely a veteran of late model competition. You're used to racing with fenders on the car. How are you liking these open wheel modifieds?
They're a lot of fun, man. I qualified good at Anderson the other week, outside pole, and we ran good in the race. Had a 6th place finish, but I love South Boston. Just haven't quite figured out, the balance I need to go fast, but also be good in the race. We'll probably end up somewhere right in the middle. I think probably 15th or so, but solid field of cars. I'm just thankful to be here. Appreciate the opportunity from Shamrock Motorsports. Hopefully we can get this 98 up front in the race tomorrow.
Bob, Landon Huffman, he likes running these open wheel cars.
What's not to like about him? This is something that you and me, Derek, grew up with, and we're right in the middle of qualifying for the King of the Modifieds, powered by Dominion Energy at South Boston Speedway for the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic. This car on the racetrack, the Shitty Coolers number 2 machine out of South Bend, Indiana. It's former Daytona 500 and Brickyard 400 winner in the NASCAR Cup Series, the Rocket Man, Ryan Newman. Still awaiting the times. Carson Lofton, by the way, the last car to qualify prior to Newman. His top time was a 14.438. Excuse me, a 14.386. Ryan Newman's top time, a 14.438. So right now it's Ron Silk over the number 7 of Jack Baldwin, the 23 of Carson Lofton, the 55 of Jeremy Kirshner, and Martino in the 20, still hanging tough in that top 5. Next car on the racetrack, Jonathan Cash, but the point leader is Jake Crum, standing by with Derek.
She likes the modifieds way more than late model.
And we're down here with the Smart Modified Tour point leader, Jake Crum, driving for Jamie the Jet Tomeno. You've had a good beginning of the season. We're only 2 races in, technically 3, but how are you liking the car so far? How do you like the chances this weekend?
I think in race trim, I think we have a pretty good car. Obviously, we knew we weren't really gonna have like a fire-off speed lap, but we went a little faster than I honestly expected to. So just all the guys, JT Motorsports, and just Justin Link and Eddie, and just all the guys, they've really worked hard and tried to put us in position to give us a good start position. I don't really know where we're gonna end up. Race monitors down. So all in all, I like our chances in race trim, but I knew that we weren't going to qualify great. So we'll just see how it goes. But just a huge shout out to Mount Airy Toyota, Kim and Scott McCorkle, my wife and kids, and just everybody back home. Unfortunately, they can't be here today, but they'll be here tomorrow rooting for us.
And unfortunately, his wife can't be here because she's racing at Tri-County Speedway, because she's also running modifieds herself. She's running 602 modifieds.
So let's recap what we've missed so far while we were talking to Jay Crum. He doesn't know where he's at right now because Race Monitor is down, but if you take a look at some of these cars, the top time so far is the 16 of Ron Silk with a 14.284. Just to let you know, Slate Myers just hit the racetrack. Slate Myers 14.433, a 14.438 for the 16 of Jonathan Cash. And then continue to go down. Matt Hirschman about set to qualify here. Paulie Hartwig, who had a great second place runner-up run at Anderson Motor Speedway there in South Carolina just a couple of weeks ago. A 14.568 for Paulie Hartwig III. He's a driver out of New Jersey, done with his qualifying effort. Now we have a driver from the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. A guy that has started 18 Smart Modified Tour races and won 9 of them. In baseball, that would be a record batting average, batting 500. Matt Hirschman, a former winner here at South Boston Speedway, a 14.378 the first lap. Can he do just a little bit better? And he does, a 14.236. And that is the top time, I believe. 14.236. Yes, that bests Ron Silk, who had a 14.284. You should see we're writing down all the times here in the booth and comparing who has done what. So really good time for Hirschman in this one, 14.236. Now on the racetrack, Luke Baldwin, the defending winner of the King of the Modifieds, powered by Dominion Energy. Baldwin in that 7VA, still awaiting to hear his time. And while we do that, Stephen Kopchik on the racetrack. Stephen Kopchik, 2 starts with the Smart Modified Tour last year. He's out of Newtown, Connecticut in the Paul's Auto Center. Wannock Construction Troyer machine. Kopchik in that 1CT. .14368 is the time we heard over the radio for Luke Baldwin. Kopchik continues his qualifying effort, gets the checkered flag now. It was a 14.402 on his first lap, a little bit slower on his second lap, 14.445. Got to apologize to everybody. We're writing down these times and talking at the same time to inform you at home on FloRacing. This next guy on the racetrack, man, he has been fast this year. He was fast here again today at Waverly, New York, in the K2 barbecue sauces. That's a Troyer machine for Shady Grady Racing. It is Bryce Bailey. Bailey, quickest in the 2 practice sessions here today for the Smart Mods at Sobo. First lap, 14.347. Can he get it done on his second lap? No, he does not. 14.311. Fastest on his second lap, but he does not get the Pace-O-Matic Pole Award. That Pole Award here today goes to the 60 out of Northampton, Pennsylvania, with a time of 14.236 for big money, Matt Hirschman. Hirschman in the 60, setting fast time today for the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic. Second by our card up here, and we got a lot of scribble with some pens up here working the radio and trying to listen to all the times, was Ron Silk, a 2-time champion of the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour with a time of 14.284. So those are the top 2 in qualifying here. Both drivers out of the Northeast, one from Pennsylvania and the other from Connecticut. Third place, Bryce Bailey in the number 15, the Pace-O-Matic Pole Award winner at the season opener in Florence, South Carolina. Bailey, third in the qualifying order here for the King of the Modifieds. I believe that fourth place run, we're checking it right now because we do have 2 7s in the field. But if we take a look at Baldwin in the 7VA, I believe it's Luke Baldwin, but we're going to double check on that. Sammy Ramo is definitely the 06 in the 5th slot. So Sammy Ramo out of Massachusetts coming home. So the Northeasterners looking pretty good here in qualifying for the King of the Modifieds at South Boston Speedway. Matt Hirschman with the Pace-O-Matic Pole Award here today. Derek, standing by with him now.
You know, whenever you go to a modified race, you've always got to worry about big money, Matt Hirschman. And there is big money on the line today. You're on the pole. You've won here in modifieds before. How do you like the car, and how do you like the track conditions?
It was fast, so I mean, we did what we had to do for 2 laps, but tomorrow's a whole different ball game, and the big money's on the line tomorrow. We get a little bonus, I'm sure, for the pole, which we can get the team dinner tonight now. But like I said, we'll see how it goes tomorrow. It's a very racy, fast track, and it's the first race of the season, so we'll just see how it goes. We ended up second last year, came up a little bit short, but see if we can do better than that tomorrow.
Well, now you go to the Dominion Energy King's Draw for the redraw for this race. How important is starting position?
It's not going to make a difference of winning or losing tomorrow. I mean, you got to have your car right. You got to, when you have the pit stop, you got to get your tire stagger right and things like that. So it's not going to determine the outcome. Is it nice to be up front? It's cleaner, and maybe you can lead some laps or pick up some bonuses. But it's not going to make or break it. You got to have your stuff right tomorrow for the long run, and then add the pit stop in there.
Well, Matt Hirschman is no stranger to victory lane here at South Boston Speedway. Has a fast car, second in last year's event. Bob, he's always a contender everywhere he goes.
Absolutely. Last year, 11 victories on the season for Matt Hirschman, and he comes back to South Boston Speedway, a place that he has won before. And by the way, that gives Matt Hirschman 12 poles in Smart Modified Tour competition, ties him for 5th on the all-time list with Gary Myers, one of the best in the business. We have some activities still to go here. A redraw coming up here at South Boston Speedway. It's the King of the Modifieds weekend, powered by Dominion Energy here in Southern Virginia. It's practice and qualifying day for the King of the Modifieds, powered by Dominion Energy at South Boston Speedway. The Smart Modified Tour's crown jewel event of the season. Yes, it comes early in the season, just the third event of the season. The Pace-O-Matic Pole Award here today after qualifying goes to Northampton, Pennsylvania's driver, Matt Hirschman. Hirschman with a time of 14.236. Second place out of Connecticut, Ron Silk, the two-time NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour champion with a time of 14.284. Those two drivers, the only two in the 14.2 second bracket. Third place, one of our regulars, a Rookie of the Year competitor in the Smart Modified Tour, the 15 for Shady Grady Racing, Bryce Bailey. The defending winner of this race, Luke Baldwin, in the 7VA is fourth. He drives for Sadler Stanley Racing. Sammy Ramo from Massachusetts in the 06. Good-looking ride for Sammy here. He's a former winner on the Smart Modified Tour in that fifth spot. Sixth spot, Jack Baldwin in the 7NY. Baldwin with a tough break while competing so well at Anderson Motor Speedway a couple of weeks ago. Baldwin, 6th overall. 7th, Carson Lofton. He won 5 times last year. He's the driver of the number 23 car. And Jeremy Gerstner out of Florida in the 55 machine winner in an open modified event last week at Caraway Speedway, rounds out the top 8. And the top 8 is important because they might have a chance to redraw for their starting spot. And for all those activities, let's go down trackside to Derek Pernasiglio.
Thanks, Bob, and we are down here in South Boston Speedway Victory Lane. It is time for the Dominion Energy King's Draw, so the fastest qualifier is going to pull a pill. It's going to be either 4, 6, or 8, and that'll determine how many will redraw for tomorrow's King of the Modifieds. So we'll just bring Matt Hirschman in. Matt Hirschman gets the pole award for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic for the 2nd annual King of the Modifieds here at South Boston Speedway. Getting his pole position plaque, and then he will pull a pill to see how many will redraw. This is the Dominion Energy King's Draw, and then he's going to have his little girl do it. Here we go. What do we got? 6 are going to redraw. So we've got Matt Hirschman down here, Jeremy Gerstner, Sam Ramo, Jack and Luke Baldwin. We have got Carson Lofton, Ron Silk, and of course, Bryce Bailey. So now the hats are being set up here on pit wall by our statistician, Justin Mincy. Say that 5 times fast, right? Okay. All right, so first driver up will be Jack Baldwin.
It's not me.
In the SNS. We're going to go from the back to the front, right?
Front to back.
Oh, front to back. Okay. Matt, you're first. And Matt's little girl is going to go over there and pick a hat for him. Adorable little girl. Here you go. What have we got? It's on the inside brim of the hat.
That's a good one.
Number 2, Matt Hirschman draws the outside pole. Where do you keep that horseshoe, Matt? All right, next driver to draw will be Wheel and Modified Tour champion, Ron Silk. So, Ron, come on over here. Ron driving the number 16 machine, and he gets number 6. He'll be outside. You can keep the hat. Ron Silk will keep the hat. The next will be Bryce Bailey driving the number 15 machine, the Shady Grady Racing entry. And we're going to see where he's going to draw. Bailey draws number 3. Not bad, inside second row. And right after Bailey will be Luke Baldwin, the defending King of the Modifieds. He drives the SNS Racing sponsored number 7 VA. So Luke will step in here. He's going to make his Truck Series debut in a couple of weeks at Martinsville Speedway, driving for ThorSport. And the King gets the pole. He's on the pole for tomorrow's race. A really good starting spot for Luke Baldwin. Sam Ramo in the 06 is next in that beautiful red and black machine. He also has one win to his credit. 4. He draws position number 4 outside row number 2. And right after him, it will be Jack Baldwin in the 7NY machine. So, Jack, you're up next. All right. He has number 5. Nice 5th starting spot for Jack Baldwin. Thank you very much, Matt. I appreciate that. Guys, stick around. We're going to talk to you guys really quick. We'll talk to actually the defending winner. And Luke, you've got number 1, really good lucky draw. And now that you're starting up front, does it change your strategy for tomorrow's race?
No, I think the strategy going into it was just to stay up front, track position game, and stay smart, try to keep it out front, and keep all 4 wheels on it by the end. But yeah, we don't ever get these lucky draws. It feels good. We finally got one. I think this might be the first time I've actually pulled the 1, but we qualified first last year, drew the 4. Now we qualify 4th and draw the 1, so I'll take it.
He'll take it, and he's going to start on the pole. We'll talk to his brother really quick, Jack Baldwin. You're starting 5th, I believe. Yeah, 5th. And your rookie season with the Smart Modified Tour, how's the season been going, and how do you like your chances so far this weekend?
We got off to a pretty rough start for the season. I mean, we've had the speed, but we haven't gotten the results that we really deserved, which is a bummer. So we're a little bit behind the 8 ball. Coming into this weekend, and we were fast to start practice and made a change, and we lost some of that speed, and then we put that right back in it and kind of surprised ourselves a little bit in qualifying with the amount of how much we picked up from our mock to qualifying, and we.
That's your brother playing with you.
He's almost.
I know you can't say it for television. I know, but hey.
Hood on the dash more in qualifying, so that's what we did, and probably could have put it even farther out there, but I'm happy we start 5th, and I'm pretty excited for tomorrow.
That's a top 5 starting spot for Jack Baldwin. Really cool. Let's talk to Ron Silk really quick. Ron, you've won here before in NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour competition. Does the track feel any different from when you raced on it from those years ago?
I was only here once. It was 6 years ago. I don't really remember, but it's a great place. I remembered having a lot of fun last time I was here. We had a great car in practice today, so looking forward to the race tomorrow.
What do you think will be one of the key strategies for being able to get the win?
Just having a good car. I mean, I think the pit strategy is somewhat figured out with the fuel break and stuff like that. So, you know, I was really happy with my car on a long run today in practice, and I think that's I don't see any outside strategy winning. I think the guy with the best car is going to win.
And he has Phil Moran turning the wrenches on that number 16 machine, a very talented crew chief indeed, won many championships in the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour with Doug Kobe. We're going to talk quick to Sam Ramo. You already have one win in the Smart Modifieds. You don't run a regular schedule, just some selected races, but how do you like the track, and how's the car?
Track's cool. I came back here in 2018 with the tour, and I think we wrecked out early, but I always thought this place was super cool. I mess around with it on iRacing all the time, stuff like that. So, cool track, bunch of grip. It's obviously beautiful weather, not what I'm used to from up in Maine, but it's pretty nice. So, car's good. I have really good long run speed. That's what we focused on all day yesterday, all morning. Never even tried to go fast in the past 24 hours. So, this was our first try at it, and missed it a little bit. Probably could have been up there a couple spots better, but by the look of the redraw, it probably didn't matter. So, yeah, good run. We got a little bit of work to do for tomorrow from 4th, but we should be all right.
With the track having this much grip as it has, how much will tire fall into that equation?
I'm not seeing a whole bunch of tire wear too bad. I mean, yesterday we went 160 laps, so and I was running pretty consistent times. So I think my car is pretty stable, and with a good setup car, and I got one person to thank. You know who you are. With a good setup car, I think we'll be good in the long run.
That's Sam Ramo. He's driving the 06. The next guy we're going to talk to is Bryce Bailey in the 15 machine. Been fast all day, qualified in the top 3. The car is good. How are you adjusting with the new team?
Oh, yeah, these guys have made it really easy. We've had speed all year. We just haven't had much luck, and last weekend, I mean, we went to Caraway to shake down and try to learn some stuff, and I think we did. We made some gains. But, yeah, I think we have a really good race car for tomorrow, and it's 125 grueling laps. This place is pretty tough on you. So, yeah, we'll just get after it, and hopefully we're staying on the front stretch.
You've got some experience racing on dirt in the past. Is there any type of driving style you could use that'll help you from dirt on pavement?
Yeah, a lot of it. We time trial a lot with the dirt stuff, and I think that helps with car control and stuff and learning where the edge is. But yeah, there's not much that correlates, but yeah.
Well, Bob, that was the top 6 from the Dominion Energy Kings redraw. We just heard from those half dozen drivers, and they all like their chances. They all want to win tomorrow.
Well, Derek, great job down there. We're definitely looking forward to the broadcast, which starts at 1:30 p.m. tomorrow here at South Boston Speedway. Let's just recap qualifying. Well, first, we'll recap the qualifying draw that just occurred with Derek and everybody down there in Victory Lane. That's a Hitachi Victory Lane here at South Boston Speedway. On the pole for tomorrow's 125 lap King of the Modifieds event will be the driver out of Mooresville, North Carolina. That's Luke Baldwin, the defending winner and series champion. On the outside will be the Pace-O-Matic Pole Award winner, fast time qualifier here today out of Pennsylvania. Is the number 60 of Matt Hirschman. That second row occupied by a driver that he just interviewed, Bryce Bailey in the 15. The 06 of Sammy Ramo will be on the outside of the second row. On that third row, 7NY of Jack Baldwin and the 16 of Ron Silk. Those are your top 6 starters in tomorrow's race. 7th will be Carson Lofton, 8th Jeremy Gerstner, and rounding out the top 10, Stephen Kopchik and Eddie McCarthy. Great run for the driver in the number 20, former winner at Wall Stadium in New Jersey. 11th, Racing Electronics Rookie of the Year competitor in the 79, Joey Braun. 12th, another Rookie of the Year competitor, Slate Myers. 13th will be the Shitty Coolers, Ryan Newman, number 2 machine, and the outside of the 7th row will be the 16 VA of Jonathan Cash. The current point leader in the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic, Jake Crum in the 99 will start 15th. 16th will be the 98 Shamrock Motorsports machine for Landon Huffman. 17th, Brandon Ward in the Q104.104. Ward will start 17th. 18th to his outside, the number 5 of Tommy Buzzy. Rounding out the top 20, the 19th spot will belong to the 21 of Jimmy Wallace, and Burt Myers in the number 1, that Pinnacle Financial machine, will be 20th. 21st, Johnny K. Joey Coulter in a backup car is 22nd. Jaden Harmon, who finished top 10 here last year in the 51, will start 23rd. The rookie, McMurray in the number 40 car in the Bass Pro Shops machine. That's Carter McMurray in the 40 will start 24th. 25th will be the 5CT of Chris Pastriak. Anthony Bello in the 12 PA will be 26th. 27th, Gary Young Jr. 28th, Paulie Hartwig the third. Tough qualifying effort for that 14-year-old. Carson DeJohn Tomaso in the 33 in the 29th spot. 30th, Tony Hanbury. 31st is Daniel Yates. And rounding out the field in qualifying, the 22 of Jason Tutterow. Let's go back to Derek.
Yeah, we've got 2 more drivers to talk to from qualifying, 7th and 8th. Carson Lofton, qualified 7th out there. You had a podium finish in this race last year, really strong run. How is the car today? Because it's the same car, same engine that you used from last year.
Yeah, we've been fighting a little bit of a tight condition all day. We've come here with a different package this year, so just trying to work all the bugs out and try to have a long run car.
How much different is it now with having your dad crew chiefing for you than someone else? Because last year your dad was one of your competitors.
It's a lot of fun. We've butted heads quite a bit so far, but it's been a lot of fun learning each other. Obviously, because we haven't worked together before, so I'm learning a lot. From him as a driver and crew chief. So it's been a lot of fun. Hopefully, we can end up right there in Victory Lane tomorrow night.
You're running a full season with the Z-Max Cars Tour this year. Obviously, different from Modifieds, but how are you enjoying the experience over there doing full rendered racing?
It's been a lot of fun. Barry and Matthew and all the guys really took good care of me so far. It's been a lot of fun pulling the modified and late model. So this one's definitely been circled on our calendars for a while now because that's how prestigious this race is. So hopefully we can win tomorrow night.
And when we talked to him earlier in the day, he was going to run about 30 races this year coming up. So that's Carson Lofton. He's got a huge schedule ahead of him. But we're going to talk to 8th place qualifier and winner last week in Tour Type Modifieds, Jeremy Gerstner. It was great to see you get back in Victory Lane after, of course, suffering an injury last year. Nice going. Great to see you here. And the car looks fast. How are you doing?
Car's real fast. I mean, we mocked up earlier in practice, and we were just a little too snug, so I had him freed up for qualifying, and when the sun came out a little bit more, and I think the track slicked up a little bit, so I was a little bit too free. You know, we didn't miss the pole by much, but, you know, qualified 8th. I was hoping to get in a redraw, but they did 6 instead of 8, but, I mean, you know, the way I look at it, last year I got to watch this race from sitting in my bed after my bag crashed, so being here and having a chance to, you know, win 20 grand is pretty awesome, and we're looking forward to this race. It's 125 laps, so hopefully we'll be there at the end and be in the hunt, and, you know, the old saying is you got to be in it to win it, so we're hoping with about 25 to go to have the top 3 be ready to, you know, prance on them.
Temperatures are supposed to be warmer tomorrow according to the weather. With that happening, the cars tend to get more free. Do you think cars getting loose will be an issue for tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely. You got to start your staggers lower and, you know, make sure you save a little bit. This track's pretty, you know, awesome for grip. I don't think you have to save a lot. We're allowed 1 right rear, you know, but we'll have to see how the strategy works. But I think tires aren't going to be an issue. I just think it's the guys that get a little aggressive in the beginning might get wrecked up, or, you know, you knock a toe out a little bit or something like that. You just got to be smart and make sure with like 25 to go, you get the car that can win.
Well, last year he was sitting on the couch with a cast on his leg. This year he's in the top 8 of the fast qualifiers for the King of the Modifieds, and last week he picked up a Tour-type modified win, Bob.
Jeremy Gerstner, he's just a good guy, bottom line. So great to see him back behind the wheel. Saw him compete down at New Smyrna Speedway during Florida Speed Weeks, then that win last week in Sophia, North Carolina at Caraway Speedway, and now he's solidly in the show for the King of the Modifieds, that Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic Crown Jewel. You'll be able to see it tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. And not only do we have the Mighty Modifieds, but we also have twin features for the NASCAR Centera late models here at South Boston Speedway, as well as the Star Super Stocks, and they are a blast. You like old Camaros and old Chevelles and you name it, you're going to want to see the Star Super Stocks tomorrow here at South Boston Speedway. This race tomorrow, $20,000 on the line, a declaration of a king in victory lane. The winner will receive the King's Cloak and the crown as well. And somebody that has a lot to do with this race because he's very passionate about modifieds, just like the rest of us, my brother Matthew Dillner, standing by with Derek Pernasiglio. All right, we apologize about that. I got a little technical snafu down there here at South Boston Speedway. I hear the microphone on. Did I hear it? Just a second. I see my brother taking a look at it, but I tell you what, tomorrow's race is going to be great. And I love the emotion that we saw last year in victory lane here at South Boston Speedway when Luke Baldwin put on the King's Cloak, the King's Crown. My brother Matthew Dillner read the declaration of declaring that king in this race last year at South Boston Speedway. It was a blast. So we're going to wrap things up for qualifying here today for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. Once again, Matt Hirschman out of Northampton, Pennsylvania, one of the kings of modified racing himself over the last couple of decades. If you're a fan of modified racing, you know how good Matt Hirschman is. He will be on the outside of the front row, and last year's winner, Luke Baldwin, will lead the field to the green flag. It'll be the Pace-O-Matic King of the Modifieds, powered by Dominion Energy. Tomorrow, South Boston Speedway. You'll be able to watch it live on FloRacing.